Let's talk about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I am excited for this conversation. So I reviewed Tony Hawk 1 plus 2. That review is being edited.
Worked on.
Yeah, worked on. The script is done. So hopefully the edit will be done sometime soon. And so I've played a good deal of it. Brad, I know you've checked it out a little bit. I'm not sure how much you've played, and I know, Huber, you've also been playing it.
Yes.
How big into Tony Hawk are you, and how is this hitting you?
I was big into Tony Hawk for the first 3 games.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Yeah.
That was like the prime for me.
That was the prime for me as well.
I just kind of fell off.
Yep.
I would like peek in to see what's going on in the games, and it's like you got Bam versus Tony, some bullshit like that. Then you got people getting off their skateboards and running around. Like, what the hell's happening here?
Get out of here with getting off your board.
I don't agree with that. There are plenty of times.
Part of it.
There are plenty of times in Tony Hawk 1 and 2 where I'm like, I really wish I could get off my board here.
But like when I just saw that, I was like, oh man, they're like missing like the design point of like you shouldn't have to feel like that. Do you know what I mean? When I see them off their board, I'm like, man, I shouldn't be in a place where I feel like I need to get off my board, and because it kind of just like slows down. I haven't played those games, so I don't know. But to me, I just felt like some of the spirit was lost when it went into that direction where the developers felt like they had to do that.
Having played a little bit of Tony Hawk Underground, I think the game is pretty cool. I know it's very beloved by fans, and I would like to play more of it. But outside of the future of the series, I think it's safe to say that we all have a love and good understanding of the original 3 games. So, does this just feel like, they managed to do it again? Does it feel new to you? Does it feel fresh? Does it feel exciting?
It doesn't feel like I didn't hop into this game and felt like blown away, like holy shit, like it feels like how I remember the old ones feeling when they were good.
Yeah.
I've only played a couple hours of it, but I wasn't blown away like brand new things yet.
Yeah.
I think what's there is really good, but I wasn't like, oh man, this is like next level Tony Hawk. To me, they brought it back to a state that I was in before, which was a good state.
One of the best remasters / remakes I've ever played. Holy shit.
It's very good, yeah. Like they did a very good job of they did a good job of capturing the feel of the first 2 games, which they needed to do. That was the most important thing. They did a good job at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm loving it. It's been a little hard because of my bro. Like, my bro and I used to play Tony Hawk a shitload. God damn it, I wish he could play this game. He would be blown the
he would
hell.
love it, dude.
Dude, he would have been blown
he would have loved it.
Way by it. Just hearing all the music, Millencolin, No Cigar, like, it's just been a really good time. Like, something about, I just love when you can capture nostalgia and modern technology, when those collide. I feel like this is the perfect collision.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. It's like a collision of a time period from like early 2000s, bring it to modern time.
Yeah.
It's you still get that vibe of old Tony Hawk.
Like not using the camera, not adjusting the camera with right stick. Like when I first started playing, I kept like using the right stick to try to look around, and it's like, no, like, what am I doing? This is freaking me out. Like, don't even use this.
I play with the D-pad, dude.
I play with the D-pad as well.
So, yeah. But I was just saying the camera to, like, move it around.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to 3D games, like, that being normal, of just, like, looking all around. And it's like, no, just let the camera do its thing.
It's so good already, you don't even really need that. I was never like, man, I need to rotate my camera right here.
Yeah, it was just like,
angle.
right when I came in, it was like a weird adjustment.
Because, most games you play now are like that.
I think the biggest 2 takeaways for me are this feels like it's coming from people that actually understand Tony Hawk in a meaningful way, where there's so many different ways they could have done this, right? Like, they could have just made it a very strict recreation of those first 2 games. But it's like, no, like, you can do the manual in Tony Hawk 1 levels. It's like, that's essential. You can do the revert from Tony Hawk 3 in both of these games. And just they seem to understand how these games are supposed to function and how people want to play them, what tools they want to have, how they want it to sound, how they want it to look. Like nothing really feels out of place in a way that is jarring. And I think the other thing that works is as an entire package, it's really impressive, right? Like the levels that you remember they feel like they're recreated in a very loving and cool way. It's fun to see them kind of brought to life in this modern era. Picking the first two games and bundling them together rather than separating them out makes a lot of sense because you can burn through these levels so quickly. But then, like, you jump into online multiplayer and it feels like exactly how you want it to feel, where it's like, oh man, like I just jump in and then all of a sudden we're doing a combo challenge and that takes just a minute or two and then we're rolling right into the next objective. And it's this really great sensation of, I feel like I can play this for as long as or little as I want and get something out of it, which is really neat. And then you just go into, you have this whole other element of it where it's like, oh man, I'm having a blast creating these skate parks. And it's so easy to just instantly hop in and test out what I'm making and get into this loop of, building, testing. And you can just bounce between all of these things so easily. And the fact that there are so many skaters to try out and so many tricks and so many different like mindsets that you can have where it's like, all right, I'm gonna have the mindset where I'm just gonna try to get the highest score possible, or I'm just gonna try to go and get all the stats that I missed, or whatever it is. Like it's just always fun, pretty much.
It's always fun. It's harder than I remember.
Really?
I remember Tony Hawk 3, dude. I was out of control. I used to bust million-point combos like it's nothing, and now I'm in like 50,000, 100,000, like tops. Like I'm way worse than I remember, so it's like kind of humbling. It's like, oh shit, I'm bad now. I'm like bad at this game, but it's fun like relearning everything and just like getting in the rhythm of, left flip, left grind, right flip, right grind, like up flip, up grind, just like getting all the variations and the combos and the manuals and the reverts. Like you said, just adding reverts and manuals to Tony Hawk 1 and 2 is genius because those are essential.
Yeah,
well,
those
Tony Hawk
pieces.
2 introduced manuals, but it wasn't
in reverts.
Yeah, and 3. Yep.
Yeah. Super essential.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I had that sensation too, where like maybe I wasn't that good as a kid, but I feel like I am worse than I remember being. And there was definitely a kind of like getting my sea legs thing. But probably my biggest complaint about the game, though, is I actually do feel like it's too easy. In the sense that once I kind of got my bearings and I was like, okay, this is how you do combos. Well, I'm certainly no, combo monster. I'm not Moon getting 60 million combos. Like it's not where I'm at. But the objectives for the scores, I think, are so fun, right? Like it's such a blast trying to, get the high score, pro score, 6 score, do the combo. And once I kind of got comfortable, getting those was trivial. It was like, oh, I just did that on my first try. And I think that makes more sense if you are Tony Hawk 1 and 2 and these games haven't been around for decades and people don't know how to play them. And it felt like it just could have been tuned
a little higher
to where I was struggling a little bit more, or it's like, oh, I wish it took me a couple of more tries. And so that is probably my biggest complaint.
Nice. The thing I loved the most was the tutorial with Tony Hawk.
He's so jolly.
Talking to you was a 10 out of 10. I can't even handle
jolly.
Damn, dude.
How good it was.
Yeah.
I should have done that. I skipped it.
It's
I didn't know.
God.
Dude, I didn't know Tony Hawk was gonna talk to me.
Dude.
It's like he's your dad. It really is. It's like he's your dad.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Like,
Tony.
I'm gonna teach you how to do a kickflip.
I don't remember exactly what he says, but he says something like, continue on to the next challenge if you want to keep it lit or something. Like he says, he uses
Keep it lit.
I don't know if that's exactly what he says, but he uses like language that's in that arena.
Oh,
and it's
that
just
was
amazing.
fire.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
It's amazing.
It
You're
really
like
is
50,
good.
dude.
Yeah.
And
Love it.
The one thing I don't like is the like weird animus matrix thing when you eat it and it like rewinds you.
Oh,
What?
dude, there's like
What
a
is
music,
this?
like the music changes too, a little, like depending if you do well or if you like fall over, it like muffles.
That doesn't bother
That's-
me at all, huh?
That's fine, but like
I don't know if I like that though, dude.
Why am I not like eating it and then just getting up? Why is it this weird animus disconnect?
The rewind?
Yeah.
It's like a rewind sound almost.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you eat it, you get back up and go. I don't know why they added this weird effect. I don't know. Just a nitpick. Just a weird nitpick for me.
Yeah, the music thing is a nitpick for me, I guess. I wonder if you turn that off though.
The soundtrack is thankfully fire.
Like,
Yes.
I'm bumping to Melancholy or whatever, dude, and
Yeah.
a little slip and it like goes away. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
hey man,
gotta-
you know
pressure to do good.
You know how you fix that?
Don't fall.
You don't fall.
Don't fall.
No, I that's interesting. I wonder if other people have it. It hasn't bothered me, but I'm glad. I'm glad you brought it
I
up.
could just RP it that like my headphones fall out or some shit.
Sure. Oh, back in the objectives thing. So I was talking about the score thing. I really enjoy finding the secret tapes because
Yeah,
the
me
way
too,
that they're
yeah.
presented, a lot of times it's like, how do I get up there? And it's like kind of fun figuring out like, all right,
Scouting
do I
it
go
out.
up there? Yeah, and it's a really neat. It almost feels kind of like a platformer, like a 3D platformer in a way, when you're trying to go after that, jiggy in the distance or something. But by the end of the game, after going through every level in the two games, I did kind of get tired of going after the numerous collectibles because they like weren't hard enough to really kind of have that satisfaction of the tape. And you didn't really need to like do anything crazy with the mechanics. Like you didn't actually have to skate super well to get them. And I just kind of felt like, all right, new level. What do I have to run around and I have to get these 5, bells or whatever. It just, that got a little bit old to me. And so I think the only reason why these things bother me so much is because they did such a good job of kind of bringing back Tony Hawk and modernizing it in a lot of ways. Like I think the challenges are really fun. I like that it changes for each skater, and that you cash that in and you have this kind of extra level of
Yeah.
progression. I think that's great. I think they did so many right things that it's like I wish kind of this aspect of the old games was looked at and maybe tweaked to just be like slightly more exciting than it ends up being after you kind of go through all the levels.
I do like the progression per character.
Yes.
I'm super into that because obviously, I made my own character, like
Yeah.
create a character. But I
Did you
love
put
Jamie
the Zero
Thomas.
hoodie on? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
But I love Jamie Thomas, and it was cool to see that if I played through and did certain tasks as Jamie Thomas, I could get specific boards that were only available
His.
that way. So I really do like that aspect, just because I'm attached to him and Zero.
Yeah. Yeah. Just getting the different boards, super fun. Just pumping up stats and just going a much faster or spinning
feels
around
good.
faster. It feels good as well. So not obviously a new thing to those games, but
Right.
pretty cool.
I'm just blown away by how faithful it feels, but also super modern. Like that is not lost on me, as someone who just loves remakes and remasters. Like it is,
Yeah.
as we said earlier, it's this collision of nostalgia and modern gameplay.
Well, it's just like those 3 games, like especially like the first 2 games were designed so well
Yeah.
that the gameplay can hold up even now today.
And like
yeah.
I could. A lot of this I'm just repeating my review, and I think that's kind of the curse of putting all of your mental energy into a script
Yeah.
before getting on a podcast. But I do want to say it again in case anybody doesn't watch the review. But I cannot overstate how brilliant the mechanics of Tony Hawk are, because a lot of games that are deep mechanically, you kind of have to like get to this point where you have fun, right? It's like I have to reach a certain level of understanding and proficiency in order to really start having fun. that's not true in Tony Hawk. Like doing a flip trick, doing a grab, doing a grind, it takes like very simple button presses, and that just feels good on its own. Even if you're not, chaining that into a revert and then a manual and then another trick, it's like just doing that single action is awesome, and anyone can do that. And so you kind of start at this awesome place, and then you see how far it can go, and it's endless, right? And so you never really lose that feeling. It doesn't ever get old because you could always be doing better, but wherever you're at feels pretty good. I love
Hell
it.
yeah, dude. I know this has been said about a million things a million times for a million years, but like easy to learn, hard to master.
Yeah.
Applies so
That's what Tony
much.
Hawk is, man.
Yes.
I love it. I love
And just
it.
falling in love with the stages again too has been so fun.
Yeah.
Like revisiting these stages that like consumed my childhood. Like obviously the school is one of my favorite ever.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, just revisiting this in modern times, like awesome. Feels so good.
Maul is amazing.
Maul is legendary. Maul is
amazing.
insane.
Yep.
This like it feels like a gauntlet, dude.
Does.
Just
It
like
does.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of almost gives me like a Downhill Jam vibe, but I think it's a much better stage than Downhill because like there's enough moments where you can kind of pause and do fun things. Whereas Downhill Jam, you're just kind of like going, and it feels like the things that you're interacting with aren't quite as enjoyable. But anyway, soundtrack I want to talk about, and kind of the whole approach to this game. They have enough songs that you remember that it kind of hits that nostalgia itch, but the songs that are new, like I'm enjoying in a lot of ways just as much and feel like they're blending in well with the rest of the soundtrack. And it's like, again, coming back to that feeling of like these people get Tony Hawk. You couldn't pick these songs so well if you didn't understand what the vibe was. So, yeah.
And it makes you wonder, it's like, should they just remake 3 and 4 next? Obviously, that seems like the right thing to do. Or should they make
barely
6?
played 4 at all,
Like,
so I would be
Same, I barely played 4.
Yeah.
3 was like thousands of hours.
I mean,
Obsessed.
3 is a hell of a game.
I
LA,
think if
Los
they
Angeles.
do a new Tony Hawk Cuber, they should just reboot it. It shouldn't be 6.
Just
I think they should just be Tony Hawk or something.
Tony Hawk.
Something like that.
I think I kind of feel the same way that I do about the Insane Trilogy, where Vicarious Visions did that, and it was like, okay, you guys have kind of shown, you kind of like it's not really paying your dues, but it's sort of the same sensation where it's like, I have faith in you now, go carry it forward.
Yeah,
That's kind of what I want.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. I just love 3 so much, you know?
yeah, that's also true.
Yeah,
It's
like
like
great.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be happy either way if they
Sure.
do one more remake.
Yeah.
Or if they just
Well,
reboot it.
you,
Like,
you could even
I
do
hope
like
they do
DLC
something.
where it's like we're
yeah.
just,
They could add 3
you know,
later.
Here's the expansion. Here's the 3 levels. You know.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
bet
could
people
do
have
that.
already like made them somehow create a park if that's
Sure,
even possible.
yeah.
I wonder if you could recreate stages from 3.
As somebody who is not a make levels kind of guy,
Same.
I
I'm
like-
terrible at that.
I really like Create a Park. It's just
Yeah, me too. I really love Create a Park.
'cause
It's really fun.
Is there an easy way for me to play your park, Ben?
I'm not even finished with my park.
Okay, I want to play this, dude.
Okay, because like
We'll do a syndrome or something. I want to play your park.
the where my head is with the park is just like, okay, well, I want to do these 2 bumps into a crazy like snake rail into a half pipe, and then it's just like spending the next 30 minutes trying to like tweak things so that feels as good as possible, but it's not like fully fleshed out. It's just kind of like that, getting obsessed with that one idea.
Yeah. Sick.
Yeah, but it'd be fun. I'd love to do a group stream where we make a park as well.
Yeah.
That'd be neat.
Like, think about how much more fun Tony Hawk is in 20 minutes than Avengers is.
Yeah,
Just like, let me boot this up and play 1 or 2 runs.
yeah. Avengers is like Tony Hawk's right to the point.
It's like nearly perfect, honestly. In a way, it is perfect. I can't even handle how good Tony Hawk is.
Video games need good Tony Hawk games.
Yep.
It doesn't
Yep, it
feel
helps.
right when Tony Hawk games are bad.
I think just the amount of the games they made really hurt that series. It was the Guitar Hero syndrome. They just kind of ran it into the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, when you started getting off your board, that was downhill. It was a downhill. That was it.
You're
Downhill
gonna upset a lot of people. You're gonna upset a lot of people.
Then they did
totally
like
kidding.
they did Ride or whatever, like some weird peripheral board or some
Yeah,
shit.
they did Ride and Shred.
Like you're fucking losing sight, dude.
Yeah.
When you're doing stuff like that.
You're trying to be GTA, man, getting off your board. What? Like, we know GTA's popular at the time.
Yeah.
Stick to what you know. Stay in your
PS
lane, Tony
You
Hawk.
can get off your board and skate, and it's great. I don't understand the
like playing
hate.
skate.
I don't understand the hate.
I'm just teasing.
It was weird at Tony Hawk. It might be cool in other games.